when it comes to sports, football is at the very pinnacle, way up here. That's where football is. Uh, every other sport, with all due respect, are where they're supposed to be, but football is at the very pinnacle of it all. And if you needed proof, the FIFA World Cup quarterfinal stage, that is the proof. That is the proof. Um, I know you got entertained. I got entertained. Majority of the football fans I've spoken with got entertained. There were shockers to some people. In my case, specifically to Morocco, I expected that result, and I'm very, very proud of that team. The Atlas Lions, they've showed grit, they've showed skill, sense of personality, mentality, and they've showed no respect for the powerful teams of the World Cup, the notorious ones, the upper echelon teams that usually show up and perform and actually win it. Morocco are like, well, it's going to be decided on the field. We are 11 players, you're 11 players, you're professional footballers, we are professional footballers. It's a level playing field. We have a referee. The whole world is watching. And we are here to express ourselves to the best of our abilities. That's exactly what they did against Portugal. It wasn't a surprise. Exceptional display. They would have beaten Portugal up to 4 goals if they are not so wasteful. That's the only issue that I hope doesn't haunt Morocco against France. This is essentially the review of the quarterfinals, and boy oh boy, that was incredible set of games. 4 games that most football fans wouldn't wish it served any other way. So the first game of the quarterfinals, at the 44,000 capacity stadium, is called the Education City Stadium, 44,000 capacity. So Croatia faced Brazil. This was a game that, if you've watched the World Cup from the beginning, the Samba wave seemed real, but usually when South American teams run into European teams that are very disciplined, they struggle. They struggle to break through for some reason. Brazil, Germany is an example. I don't know what the issue is, but the Brazilian wave, the Samba wave, finally got killed by the Croatian, exceptionally good Croatian team. I think at this point, this Croatian team, there is a high level of balance in that midfield, and that midfield runs that team. It runs that team, and historically, Croatia and old Yugoslavia, the midfield is usually the engine. They've had Boban, they've had Prosinecki, they had Dragan Stojkovic for Yugoslavia in 1998, and I think Italia 92. They've had brilliant footballers who have played in midfield and always find a way to make things work, make things stick. This time around, they do have Modric, they do have Brozovic from Inter Milan, who plays at Inter, and the guy who plays for Chelsea. And that midfield has an incredible balance. They work for each other, and of course, Modric I think he's the best midfielder in the world right now. And I would say he's in the top 5 of midfielders of all time. He is definitely in there. That was an exceptional display. Neymar scored probably one of the best goals of this tournament and the history of the World Cup. In a flash of brilliance, Neymar stepped up to the plate and really showed the world. I think he's one footballer that has been disrespected too much. But that moment of brilliance from Neymar, the composure to lift it over a very good Croatian keeper, incredible. However, the fight back, and this was a 105th minute, the game had gone through 90 minutes into extra time. In the 105th minute, Neymar sparked that magic. And of course, Croatia, they refused to die. they have 9 lives and then 2 extra ones just in case. And of course, Petkovic scored in the 117th minute. It was a great game. It flagged off the quarterfinal in a good fashion. Then the second game, which was the most dramatic, most controversial, most toxic of the quarterfinal games, Netherlands versus Argentina. I mean, it lived up to France 98 and even more. This game was, it was almost dead and buried. Molina scored in the 35th minute for Argentina. And of course, Lionel Messi, King Leo, scored a penalty in the 73rd minute. And of course, we know an old head that sits on that Dutch bench, Louis van Gaal, who's incredibly experienced, made a substitution and brought on Wout Weghorst. Weghorst already bagged a yellow card on the bench, came in, scored in the 83rd minute. This game dragged on because of the antics of Argentines and so much confusion. It was supposed to be 9 minutes time added on. It ended up being 11 minutes because the ref had to add all of those minutes time that were wasted on antics and bad blood and feud. And of course, in my opinion, this is the pinnacle of emotions, was showed when Weghorst scored in almost the 111th minute of that game. Last kick of the game, well-worked free kick. Template from France 98 when Veron orchestrated a similar kind of free kick against England in France 98. Thomas Brolin, according to my brother Ola, had mentioned in the earlier podcast that the group had. Thomas Brolin did orchestrated a similar free kick at USA 94 World Cup. The game was tied, went into penalties, and Argentina won by 4-3. It was very dramatic. Then came the pride of Africa, the Atlas Lions of Morocco against Portugal. And incredible. I already spoke about it. Morocco won by a lone goal where El Nesri leaped as high as any skyscraper that you can see in this world to head home for Morocco and for Africa and for the entire Arab world. Probably the most important goal in Africa's conquest at the World Cup. So big ups to El Nesri, the Moroccan team. I think by now people will begin to pay attention. That team is no fluke. Amrabat was exceptional. Unahi, these guys worked for each other, you know. Saiz even got pulled out. And of course, I mean, that has to be one of the greatest performances by any African team. This is what I expected Algeria to do against Germany at the 2014 World Cup. But Algeria were so wasteful. How Germany escaped, I don't understand. But it was a similar game. However, the Moroccan team were very disciplined and stayed locked in and made sure they pulled through for the Kingdom of Morocco, for Africa, and for the Arab world. The last quarterfinal game, England against France, this was a sort of like a funny game. France were not really at the level they should be, and England played better than everybody expected. Even Harry Kane got to miss a penalty to tie the game at 2-2, but France came out 2-1 victors. Goals in the 17th minute, Chouameni and Harry Kane replied with a penalty, and of course the ageless and ever reliable Giroud scored in the 78th minute. So that's the quarterfinals, and we are now looking forward to the semifinals. Tomorrow, Argentina will play Croatia. Tricky game, Lusail Stadium, 80,000 capacity. 19 hours GMT, I would post in a prediction. Something tells me Croatia are cooking something, but King Leo won't step into the final. That might be a little bit too much for Croatia, but I did say the same thing, and for Croatia I said exactly the same thing. I don't know if Croatia wins, I won't be surprised, but I think King Leo is determined to win this World Cup. So I would say 2-1 Argentina. Now the second game, Morocco against France. This would be at the Al Bayt Stadium, 68,000 capacity, 19 hours GMT. This game will be played on Wednesday. I think we might get to experience something special. We might get to experience something special. If Morocco are the same Morocco without adulteration, I think they would beat France. But if they decide at all to show France even a pinch of respect, they will lose. And being an African, being proud of this Moroccan team, and being someone who has had real faith in them, and trusting that they do actually have the ability to beat France, I say Morocco win this game 2-0. I actually don't think they will concede. That's my prediction. And I stand by it. If I'm wrong, that's fine. But this is my true gut feeling. I think the world is about to experience something special. So that was it. The review of the quarterfinals, preview of the semifinals. And we'll regroup on Thursday and review the semifinals and preview the third place match. Long live football. Viva Morocco. Walid Regragui. That's a very tough last name. The coach of Morocco, big ups to you. I think at this point, you're the coach of the tournament. It would be criminal not to be given to you. So let's look forward to be entertained. 2 great games for the semifinals. The World Cup is here every 4 years. Do not miss it.